Well, I thought it was,
Good evening, everyone. Call this meeting to order. Begin with a moment of reflection and respect. Thank you. Item 3, confirmation of agenda resolution, please.
That council adopts the agenda for the meeting of January 24th, 2024, noting the removal of item 5.1 being the presentation from Robert J. Swayze due to cancellation, and that the presentation will be rescheduled for a future meeting of council, and that item 6.3.4 be corrected to read Police Service Board minutes for December 12th, 2024.
Mover and seconder, Rosier and Councillor Rahi. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? No. Delegations have been canceled. Consent agenda, resolution, please.
That the January 24th, 2024 consent agenda be received for information, and that council approves the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on January 10th.
Mover and seconder, Councillor Chapman, Councillor Ozelach. Discussion by council? Questions? Comments? Great. Seeing none, all those in favor? Is carried. Carried. Okay. Action item, item 7, 7.1, resolution.
That the council of the town of Elmer receive report plan 03-24 regarding planning evaluation report, application for consent to sever number E1324, and that the application for consent to sever number E13 north half of lot 11 and lot 12, Warren Plan 74, known municipally as 36 Victoria Street North, be supported in principle with the recommended conditions for the reasons set out in this report, and that this report be forwarded to the Land Division Committee for its review and consideration.
Thank you. Mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Barber and Councillor Chapman, I think, she had her hand up. Right. Heather.
Good evening. Thank you, Your Worship and members of council. The severance application you have before you this evening is for 36 Victoria Street North. Essentially, this severance application is to sever a residential parcel into two parcels. The two parcels will be the exact same size. The one parcel, if we move to figure 2, we'll have which is known as parcel A, which is the proposed severed parcel. It is the parcel that will be severed and will be developed on. The accessory building on that parcel will be removed. The retained parcel, which will be parcel B on figure 2, that will continue to retain the existing dwelling that's on the property. The application was circulated amongst staff. Those comments have been identified within the report and included within the recommended conditions for severance. The application has also been reviewed in terms of planning policy review, and I can conclude that the proposed application is consistent with the provincial policy statement. It conforms to the County of Elgin's official plan, as well as conforms to the Town of Elmer's official plan, as well as complies with the Town of Elmer zoning bylaw. So recommendation is that the application be supported in principle to the Land Division Committee, subject to the committee's standard conditions, in addition to the conditions I have recommended in my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Council, questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. Item 7.1.2, Manager of
That report, Operations 06-24, entitled Elmer Water Distribution System Annual Report and Summary Reports be received for information as required by Ontario Regulation 17003, Section 11, and that the council receives and approves the annual summary report for the Elmer Distribution System for the year of 2023 as required by Ontario Regulation 170-03, Schedule 22.
Very good. A mover and seconder, Councilor Desrosiers and Councilor Chapman. Who's in this one, Rob? Or John? John.
Thank you, Your Worship. Happy tonight to bring forward these two reports to council. The town of Elmer is required to complete annual and summary report for our water distribution system under Section 11 and Schedule 22 of Ontario Reg 170 under the Safe Drinking Water Act, and provide these to the owner and to the public to be posted online once approved. Some notables of these reports are that this was a reaccreditation year for our external audit. We successfully completed a full scope in-person audit, and we also received 100% on our ministry inspection rating. And I'd be happy to answer any questions council may have pertaining to these two reports.
Council. Deputy Mayor Barber.
Thank you, Worship, to staff, whoever. 100% again, hard to achieve. Good work on the part of staff in making that happen. Just a quick observation that the consumption was pretty much flat from 2022 to 2023. Did your budgeting come in accordingly? Were you within the ballpark?
Thank you, through your worship, to Councillor. Yeah, our consumption stayed, it actually did decline slightly, but we stayed at around 42% of the line's capacity. I believe funding allowed us to maintain that scope.
So the revenue was satisfactory?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Rahi, you had your hand up.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Connor. How often do municipalities get 100%? Is it a common thing, or?
It is common, but I will, sorry, through your worship, to Councillor, it is a common score that can be obtained. It's obtainable, I will say. You're often going to have deductions for anything that is found within that inspection. So I will say, to achieve it, it takes all of the operators doing things the right way all of the time. So I commend the operators and the staff.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Barber.
Just to follow up to Connor, you mentioned 100% is achievable, and that's great. It doesn't take much to deviate from 100% just by not dotting the i's and crossing the t's. Would that be fair?
Yes, that would be.
Simple answer. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other comments from council? Councilor Roselech?
Yeah, yes, Your Worship. That's a good that's a good report for the town of Elmer, and it's very good.
Yeah, we seem to have gotten used to the fact, as Deputy Mayor Barber has said, that we get 100%, but there's a lot of work behind that, and certainly the first time we turn on the tap and something strange comes out of it, we we would be all over the procedures that we use. And nothing like that has ever happened in Elmer, so that's great.
Let's knock on wood.
Any other comments? No. Seeing none, all those in favor? It's carried, thank you. The Director of Operations, contract extension resolution.
That report, Operation 05-24, entitled Contract Extension 2024, Grass Cutting, be received for information, and that council grant a one-year extension to the 2023 annual grass cutting tender to Janzen Lawn Care to complete the works in accordance with the Parks and Lawn Maintenance Grass Cutting 2023 season tender documents.
Okay, well, mover and seconder. Moved by Councillor Chapman, seconded by Councillor Oslach. Rob.
Thank you, Your Worship. As the council will recall, we tendered for grass cutting in some parks around town last year. Jansen Lawn Care was the low bidder at the time. He's successfully completed, or they have successfully completed the work. They received an outstanding, vendor performance rating, and we had no issues with the contractor. The contract did allow the council to take advantage of a one-year extension, so the contractor has offered to hold their prices from last year. And to put that into perspective, kind of in today's environment, that doesn't really happen a lot it's really fuel and labor are the two driving factors for that type of work. So we often see a little bit of a slight increase request. In this case, the contractor didn't request it, so I'm thinking it's probably in the council's best interest that we leverage this extension. At the end of this next season, we will probably go out for like a 3-year contract. I think a longer-term contract allows some stability in the marketplace, that we both know the contractor and the contractor knows our expectations. And with a longer contract, it allows them to have some stability with their bid, if you will. But for the first year, council will recall we did a 1-year with a 1-year extension, just to sort of enter the market, if you will.
Thank you. Council? Councillor Oslach.
This include the Rotary parks or other parks?
I believe it was Rotary and portions of Steen, or Centennial, if I remember correctly, Councillor Oslach.
Does it include any other parks this year?
I would have to check the document. It's the Rotary Park the parks that were chosen were sort of not the heavy traveled parks, the ones that were on the periphery, which I think Rotary, Centennial, and the Fire Hall, if memory serves, were the 3 that we grouped. Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Barber.
Thank you, Your Worship. So, Rob, what triggers the call out of the grass cutters? Are we monitoring it and we call? Is that the way it works?
Through Your Worship to Deputy Mayor Barber, yeah, that's 100% how it works. So it's not left to the discretion of the contractor. When we hit a grass height, then the lead hand for the parks would contact the grass cutter to come out and cut.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. 7.14, Chief Administrative Officer Land Needs Assessment Resolution.
That report, CAO 04-24, respecting land needs assessment study, be received for information.
Mover and seconder, Councillor Desrosiers, Councillor Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before you is the final report from Watson & Associates on Elmer's Lands Needs Assessment. As identified in October, Elmer projects a shortfall of 28 gross hectares of residential land and 18 to 22 gross hectares of employment land within the 25 to 30-year planning period timeframe. It's important to note that municipalities are no longer tied to the 25-year planning window and can go up to 50 years now. This change was done by the province to recognize the considerable investments in infrastructures by municipalities to expand and the need for there to be some sufficient economies of scale to do such large-scale infrastructure projects. As directed by council, a confidential proposal was made to Malahide in October of 2023 on adjusting adjustments that would exceed the 25 to 30-year timeframe. Staff have received a preliminary response late last week and will bring the matter back to council in closed session sometime in February. The town also delegated to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs this Monday on the boundary adjustment issue. The ministry was very supportive, and we appreciate them taking an ongoing interest in an expedited boundary adjustment process. And with that, I'll try to answer any questions that council might have.
Council? No questions. Great job. I do want to comment on the delegation to the ministry that happened on Monday. I believe it was Andy and Owen and Deputy Mayor Barber that went to Toronto to speak to Minister Calandra, right, who is the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. I don't know why they keep the housing, because really Associate Minister Flack is, housing anyway. I just wanted to point out that this delegation took place at a convention which normally costs $1,500 or so to actually register and then have the opportunity to do a delegation. Well, we forgot the part about registering. We just kind of went without having to register. So right off the bat, we saved thousands of dollars in making this delegation. So I just wanted to point that out and thank the people for doing that. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. 7.21. This is a County of Brant Council resolution. I have a resolution.
That council endorse and provide a letter of support to the relevant Government of Ontario and Government of Canada ministers for the following resolutions. The County of Brant Council resolution regarding gender-based and intimate partner violence.
Okay. Mover and seconder, by Councilor Desrosiers, seconded by Councilor Oslach. Speak to this. Councilor Desrosiers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As a female representative of this community, I am proud to endorse this resolution from the County of Brant. Unfortunately, incidences of gender-based violence and intimate partner violence increase exponentially through the COVID-19 pandemic and have not decreased. As a rural community, we face unique risk factors such as isolation, religious values, lack of and/or barriers to services and support, strong traditions and community values around firearms, mental health challenges, and a sense of responsibility for livestock and pets, all which prevents women from seeking support and increase the risk of domestic violence and domestic homicide. I would like to express my gratitude to Deputy Chief John Stone from Elmer Police Services for providing statistical data relevant to Elmer specifically. As of January 2024, year-to-date domestic disturbance calls have increased by 40% from 2021 to 2023. Further, according to the data from last year, 92% of charges laid were to males, while comparably only 8% of females were charged. Given the statistical data, it is clear that our community is not immune. Social injustice is still a prominent issue in our society, and as elected officials, it is our responsibility to advocate for these injustices, even if we ourselves are not victims. Therefore, I call to council to unite collectively with the growing list of municipalities, support this resolution, and declare a gender-based and intimate partner violence epidemic.
Thank you. Other members of council? Deputy Mayor Barber.
Thank you, Worship. Whether you're male or female, there's no place in our society for domestic violence. To date, approximately 30 municipalities across Ontario have supported this a similar resolution. To date, I believe the province of Ontario has not endorsed the resolution, suggesting gender-based epidemic. The terminology they're using just escapes me for a second, but the subject of this particular matter. I believe Canada has adopted the concept, as well as a number of countries around the world. As Councillor DeRosier reported, domestic violence within Elmer is a challenge, it's a problem, but we're not unique within the province. We're not any higher than anybody else, which doesn't make that right. One particular incident is one too many. The only challenge that I have with the resolution, it states gender-based intimate and partner violence as an epidemic, but it doesn't suggest any solutions to make the situation any better. Perhaps awareness, see something, say something, will have a positive effect over time. But I hope that eventually more becomes of bringing solutions to the forefront to make domestic violence zero within our community, within our country.
Councillor Oslett.
Yes, Your Worship. Your Worship, I read the police reports every couple of weeks, and the instances of violence comes up all the time, probably 2 or 3 times on the police report.
Any other comments? I certainly support any of the comments that have been made, and just wanted to comment that the local public health units have been grappling with this issue for a very long time, and there are a number of public health units across Ontario who are sending resolutions to the province concerning this very item. They don't deal with the epidemic part of it, because that's kind of a general statement about what's happening, but they call for action from the federal and the provincial governments to deal with this and to start taking better data and to have programs available. And certainly the public health units across the province, including the one that is Southwest Public Health Unit here, has this resolution before it right now. And I think there's quite a number across Ontario that is asking the government for action, not just for general statement. Right. Anyone else? Great. Thank you. All those in favor, then? Is carried. Thank you. New business and matters of urgency. Reading of bylaws and proceedings thereon. We have a resolution for those.
That council gives 3 readings to and approves bylaw 8-24, being a bylaw to authorize the signing of an agreement between the Corporation of the Town of Elmer and Autoform Contracting London for the 2024 sidewalk program. Bylaw 09-24, being a bylaw to authorize the signing of an agreement between the Corporation of the Town of Elmer and AAR Excavating Limited for the 2024 pavement management program. Bylaw 10-24, being a bylaw to authorize borrowing for current expenditures and capital outlay during 2024 from the Consolidated Reserve Fund of the Town of Elmer. Bylaw 11-24, operating loan and current expenditures. Bylaw 12-24, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at the regular meeting held on January 10th, 2024.
Thank you. Mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Barber, Councillor Rahi. Any comments from council? Seeing none, all those in favor? As carried. Thank you. Are there any inquiries by members? Any statements or committee reports by members? Councillor Oslett?
Yes, Your Worship. I'd like you to read the statement I prepared. And last week, at the last council meeting on January the 10th, I was taken aback by the language used by the member of this council towards another member of this council. Against all parliamentary procedures, the Code of Conduct states, personal and physiological harassment, subsection 2, remarks, jokes, comments, innuendos that demean, ridicule, or intimidate or offend. Members are required to ensure that they interact, communicate in a manner that is respectful and consistent with the well-being of those they deal with. Such language is not allowed in the House of Commons or the provincial legislature. That's my statement.
I probably should have cut you short from reading that statement, Councilor Roslake, because it's relating to the, to my notice of motion, but I was too late in doing that, so I apologize. But any other statements from council? All right. Report of the mayor, I don't have a report. Next item is the notice of motion. This is a notice of motion which I will bring forward on February the 21st. And all I can do at this point is just read the notice of motion. It will come up at that point for voting. I mean, whereas it is the role of the head of council under Section 225 of the Municipal Act to provide leadership and recommendations to council in respect to their roles and responsibilities, and whereas a council member has brought accusations before at the meetings held on December the 6th, 2023, 10th, 2024, and whereas it is in the interest of council to ensure its members are held to the highest possible standards of accountability and adherence to the Code of Conduct. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Elmer requests the Integrity Commissioner to investigate the allegations made on January 10th, 2024, and on social media, and that such a review is to consider the conduct of both council members upon this matter, and that council request a public report upon the matter from the Integrity Commissioner to include advice upon the application of reprimand or penalties against either member as outlined in 223.4, Section 5 of the Municipal Act. Thank you. Next item is a closed item. So, closed meeting, we have a resolution.
That council moves into a meeting closed to the public at 6:25 p.m. to discuss the following matters: Chief Administrative Officer Report 5-24, update respecting land-related matters; Chief Administrative Officer Report 6-24, update regarding potential industrial land assumption; and that consideration of these items is closed to the public pursuant to Section 239(2)(c) of the Municipal Act as amended, as the subject matter pertains to a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of lands by the municipality or local board.
We're in a seconder. Councilor Desrosiers, Councilor Rahi. All those in favor? As carried. Thank you.
Yep, all good.
All right, everyone, welcome back from closed session. We have a resolution.
That council rise from the meeting closed to the public at 7 PM and reports the following: that council gave confidential direction to the chief administrative officer respecting report CAO 05-24, update respecting land-related matters, and report CAO 6-24, update potential industrial land assumption.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, Councilor DesRosier, Deputy Mayor Barber. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Yes. Adjourn. Council
That council do now adjourn at 7:01.
Mover and seconder, Councilor Rahi, Councilor Oslach. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.